Oliver, Oliver won't ask for more when he knows what's in store. There's a long, thin, winding stairway without any banister, which will throw him down and feed him for cockroaches served in a canister. Oliver, Oliver, what heavens pray will the governor say? They will lay the blame on the one who named him.
Hey, Fagin, I brought a new friend to see you. Oliver Twist.
I got the part of Oliver through a series of auditions. I was at a stage school in London, the Corona School Academy of Dramatic Art, and Carol Reed, John Wolfe, the producer of the film, came round to the school looking for the boy to play Oliver. 5,000 plus boys were auditioned. They whittled it down until I got to the final selection, and lo and behold, they picked me.
Why have you brought the boy here?
Because he's coming on a job.
When I heard that I got the role, I remember I was in the bath at my home in London, and my mother shouted up the stairs, you don't need to go to school on Monday because you start work. And I kind of said, great, you know, time off school, fantastic.
Good luck on your first job, my dear. I'll be waiting for you here when you come back.
Well, I turned up at Shepperton Studios on the first day of filming, not really knowing what was going on. The whole studio had been taken over by the Oliver and the Oliver sets. The sets were absolutely massive. They were life-size. Walking into Bloomsbury Square was like actually being in Bloomsbury Square. I mean, it was, they even had proper grass in the middle and a pond that worked, fish in it. Incredible. There was the workhouse scene with the wheel. There was Fagin's den with an actual river that ran through the bottom of it. The sets were a work of art in themselves. The entire length of the production, from beginning of rehearsals until the last day of filming, was about, I think, between 10 and 11 months. So it was a long haul. We actually did 6 months' worth of rehearsals before we even turned the camera. The choreography was done by Honor White, and she's an American lady, and we basically went through, it was like doing a barn dance because there's so many of us, and I have got 2 left feet. I've always have done and always will do. So I had to pay special attention to these movements, which actually, if you look at them, they're quite simple. It's when you put it all together that it becomes more complex. My dancing was very simple, but again, I had to really think about what I was doing, and we rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed until it became a second nature. I don't believe I got nervous when I was doing any of the numbers or any of the shooting. Carol Reed was extremely good at talking us through what was going on. He made us feel very comfortable in front of the camera. He was in the background always, but his presence was always felt. He was he was like a very kindly uncle, and he was very good with working with us as kids.
Dear me, he's very small.
Well, he is rather small, there's no denying, but he'll grow, Mrs. Sarbury, he'll grow.
As we were filming, I was growing. I was 8 years old, and I went through a couple of growth spurts. Jack was not so fortunate, and being slightly vertically challenged, every time I grew, of course, Jack remained the same. So by the end of the film, I think he had sort of 4 to 5 inch lifts put in his shoes.
What you staring at?
When Jack and I first met, it was on the first day of rehearsals at Shepperton Studios, and instantly we got on. It was as if he was a long-lost brother, and he took me under his wing. He was a fair bit older. I was 8 years old. He was 12, 13, so a big age gap in those days. He was a bit of a footballer. He played football for Manchester United, young kids, and I was in awe of this great talent where he could kick the ball up in the air and hit it, and it was just great fun. And he really was very supportive, like a big brother.
Just do everything that Dodger and the others do. Make 'em your models, my dear. Especially Dodger. He's gonna be a right little Bill Sykes.
Who's Bill Sykes, Mr. Fagin?
Oh, Oliver Reed, scary. Oh my God, all terrified. I think even the adult members of the cast was frightened of Ollie. I mean, he really got into that part. He became Bill Sikes. He was menacing. I mean, the scenes I did with him towards the end of the film, when he's running with me through the streets of London, I was absolutely petrified. I didn't need to act. I mean, that was just pure fear.
Bill Sikes, what did you do? What did you do?
My favourite scene actually is with Ron when he's reviewing the situation. It's just beautifully timed. It's a perfect piece of choreography, and it's just wonderful to watch Ron just being Fagin.
I'm reviewing the situation. Can a fella be a villain all his life?
It was only after a couple of months of working with Ron that I actually saw Ron out of makeup, and I didn't recognise him. I mean, he put those clothes on, put the makeup on, and he became this mischievous, very likeable rogue. And that's how I saw him for a couple of months until, as I say, I saw him out of makeup once. I thought, who is this chap?
I think I'd better think it out again.
The makeup department decided they were going to play a trick on Harry Seacombe. And Harry was great. He was really a wonderful character, full of always telling jokes. So the makeup department decided they're going to have a joke on him. And they made a false wax ear, which they attached to the top of my ear. And in the scene, Oliver, the boy who asked for more, the song, Harry has to grab me by the ear and march me around. So Harry grabs hold of my ear with his hand, and of course the wax ear comes off, and he's holding this bit of wax in his hand, and of course he's just like, oh my God, what have I done? I pulled his ear off. And for about 10 seconds there was silence, and then there was this great big roar of laughter from Carol Reed, who was in on the joke.
Somebody named him Oliver.
Carol Reed was just meticulous about everything. Everything had to be perfect. If it wasn't, I mean, quite often we'd do scenes that we'd do 50, 60 takes just to get it right. We prepared for Who Will Buy for an awful long time. I mean, I think that the whole scene took about 6 weeks to make. I mean, these days, I mean, you can make a whole movie in that length of time.
Who will buy my sweet red roses, 2 blooms for a penny?
There are a lot of good songs in it, but that is my one of preference. I think it's because of the construction of the song, how it starts from the flower cellar, the rose cellar, and builds up and builds up and builds up to a crescendo of everything going on. I just like the way that was constructed. I was always being told off because if I ran around and got hot, my cheeks got very, very red, and it took 15, 20 minutes for me to calm down. So I was always being told off, not being too active, and they would never let me play football with the other kids, which really used to annoy me.
Can I? Please, I'd like to.
I had my 9th birthday on the film, and in fact, I think we were filming Consider Yourself at the time, and we came in, and at the end of lunch break, I think it was, Carol Reed came and called me over and said, Mark, I just want to show you something. And they opened this door, and there was this massive, great train set on the ground, and he said, happy birthday. And then they all sang happy birthday, brought this cake out with candles on it, and I think they filmed it. It was just wonderful, and this fabulous train set, and they bought me a bike, and they bought me so many other presents. It was just absolutely superb.
Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself one of the family.
Well, the Consider Yourself number was a vast number. Again, that took about a month just in itself to film. And I remember that Carol Reed had a second camera team on it, which was unheard of, and they had videotape. Now, back in '67, I believe, I've never seen videotape before, so you could actually, it was like Polaroid, you could see exactly what had been shot seconds after it had been filmed. And I was more fascinated, I think, by watching the video back than I was the scene. Like all filming, it's very confusing. You do the first bit last, the middle bit second, and it's all fragmented until they edit it all together, and then you actually make sense of it. When I saw Oliver for the first time was at the premiere. It feels very strange when you see yourself on the screen. I sort of detach myself from it. I sort of look at it as almost like a twin brother that's up there doing these things. It's also, one becomes very hypercritical, so if there's a lot of wincing went on while watching the performance.
My eyes, how green can you get?
Jack Wilde was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for the film, and we were all whisked off. Most of the cast were whisked off to the States for the Oscars. So it was Los Angeles, springtime, stretch limousines taking us from door to door. It was just the most incredible moment in both our lives. We were put up in a hotel, courtesy of Columbia Pictures. Jack said, we were in the room together, he said, "Oh, you know we've got room service." I said, "You're kidding?" He said, "What can we order?" Hamburgers, hot dogs, milkshakes. And then he discovered that there was a toy shop actually attached to the hotel, which you could charge to the room. So he ordered up all these Hot Wheels, which is little car things. And we just ordered these Hot Wheels, and we were just like, it was almost spoilt kids waiting to be told off. And the more we ordered, and we just kind of got away with it.
Look at his togs! He's got books too! Quite a little gent, ain't he? Oh, lovely bit of stuff.
Delighted to see you looking so well, my dear.
I guess I was quite popular in those days post-Oliver, but I don't know. I think the attitude of the general public in England is that they pretty much leave you alone, or did then. I mean, things have changed then. There wasn't the paparazzi around in those days that there is now. So I was allowed my own privacy. I used to play football, go off to the park, climb trees, go to the swimming pool. Nobody really pestered me, except occasionally for an autograph.
Did you see any of those pretty things, my dear?
Yes, sir.
When I got my money that had been put in trust for me at the age of 18, I kind of went a little bit bonkers. I went down to a car showroom and bought a Ferrari 308.
If you go on the way you started, you will be the greatest man of all time.
I am now an osteopath and an acupuncturist. When people come to see me for treatment, where I practice, I live in Cheltenham, Gloucestershire. It's a largish, middle-sized town, but it has a very villagey atmosphere. So a lot of people know my past before they come here. If they don't, then they are pleasantly surprised if and when they find out. Quite often they ask me to sign something for their kids or cousins or grandchildren, which of course I happily do.
Please, sir, I want some more.
I'll give you a straight face. Please, sir, I want some more.